Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Zoom GT Jump 2. So this shoe is freaking expensive. It retails for $180. So if you guys do want a cop, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. The Joker actually wears this shoe. I mean, he was wearing the original Zoom GT Jump and then he switched to this shoe. So again, links will be in the description box, but let's get started right off with the Traxione. So we have a pretty interesting traction pattern, and in this colorway we have like this vomit green color. It's a solid rubber outsole, right? And the traction is actually pretty solid, you know what I mean? If you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna have a very good time. I got solid bites. I wouldn't say it's top tier, right? I wouldn't say it's top tier, like in my personal opinion or in my personal experience. Top tier is like Jaw 1, the 808-3, the AR1, what else we got? We got Zoom Freak 5, the Puma All Pro Nitro, you know what I mean? But this is still up there. It has a very nice bite on a clean court. I did need to break it in a little bit though. But after I did that, you know, they're very nice bites, right? Also, the traction is kind of silent. It doesn't have that much squeak to it. Once I started to break it in, it did start to squeak a little bit more, but it's just not as squeaky as like, you know, the AR1 was. And obviously that has nothing to do with performance, but I like to have a nice squeak, you know what I mean? So there's the squeak. And as far as dust performance goes, however, it's not great on dust, right? It does pick up a good amount of dust. Like when I was playing on a clean court, like a LA Fitness court, I was having a pretty good time. But once I switched to the 24-hour fitness court, it wasn't amazing, right? And also it like, even if I did try to wipe off the dust, it just wasn't having an amazing bite, right? So if you're playing on a super dusty court, probably not the best option. If you're playing on a slightly dusty court though, you should be okay, you know what I mean? It's not terrible. It's just I wish the performance on dust was a little bit better. And for durability, I don't know guys. I don't know why Nike gives us such not durable outsoles, especially on their expensive shoes, but it doesn't seem very durable, you know what I mean? The rubber actually feels kind of soft, you know, it's not super duper soft, but it does feel a little bit softer. And for 180 bucks, I mean, probably not the best option, right? And also, I guess like there's not a whole lot of surface area, you know what I mean? So yeah, probably not the best for outdoor use, you know what I mean? So the traction, I would say it was pretty good, but definitely, I mean, I was playing with the AR1 as well in my rotation, right? So the AR1 top tier, like one of the best tractions of this year. Same thing, I was playing with the 808-3s, but also I was playing with like the KD16 and the Jordan 30, and I would say those plays pretty similarly as far as the traction goes with the Zoom GT Jump 2, right? So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, oh my gosh, it's freaking nice, guys. So here in the heel, we have a nice curve, crazy curve shape, right? And also we have this fully exposed pretty much React foam, and it's unadulterated USDA organic GMO free React foam. It's super duper soft, and also, as you guys all know, React is pretty bouncy, so we have that nice little bounce as well here in the heel. And then we have a crazy curve shape here in the forefoot, and it's not super flexible, but with this crazy curve shape, you don't really need all too much flex in my personal opinion. So overall heel to toe transition is super duper smooth. And also, like when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, it also feels super duper bouncy and explosive, right? And that ties into the cushioning setup as well. So we have pretty much two crazy layers of foam. It's not just one, it's two, right? So as far as the insole goes, the insole is just whatever. It's like a styrofoam insole, nothing crazy, but we do have a full length Zoom Strobel unit, which of course is crazy. You know, we have a lot of compression right underneath your foot. You have a lot of bounce as well. And then underneath that, so here in the forefoot, we have two crazy Zoom pods. Like, look at how thick it is, you know what I mean? And then here in the heel, we have the React foam, right? It's super duper soft. So this is a very crazy cushioning setup. And I feel like if you're a guard and you want a responsive cushioning setup, this definitely is not the best option, right? I would suggest something like, you know, the Jaw 1, the AR1, the 808s, you know, 808-3, 808-3 Ultra. But if you want something crazy, if you want a lot of compression, if you want the best impact protection that you can have, if you want insane bounce, if you want insane comfort, then you get it here. You know what I mean? And it's called the Zoom GT Jump for a reason. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I had a really fun time. You know, it was really nice. It was very, very comfortable. But I just, you know, in my personal opinion, I like more responsive cushioning setups. You know what I mean? So I don't need all of this. And also, I did feel a little bit slower, you know, when I was playing it because, like I said, it's not as responsive as like the AR1 is, you know what I mean? So obviously it's not made for that, so I understand why they made it like this, but I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea sometimes, you know what I mean? Like I said, some days super duper fun, I had a great time, but also on other days when I wanted something a little bit quicker, a little bit lower to the ground, I didn't really like this setup all too much, right? So yeah, also another thing I didn't like is the court feel. The court feel is really, really bad, obviously, in the Zoom GT Jump 2. So yeah, I'm a little indifferent, you know what I mean? I definitely feel like this is a very polarizing cushioning setup, and I definitely feel like there's gonna be people that love it, and also people that not hate it, but like want something else, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like for guards, you know? So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the material, so it's pretty much like it reminds me a lot of like Leno weave a little bit, you know? Like in the Jordan 36, right? It's like a plastic, right? We have yarns, and then we have another material going through it, and it kind of like interweaves into this material. And also there's another very, very thin, very open mesh material underneath all that, right? So it's a super duper thin material. It conforms to your foot extremely well. Quality wise, it's not great, you know what I mean? Also durability, I definitely don't think this upper is going to be durable at all, especially for 180, but like Nike, why? For 180 freaking dollars, I expect a material to last, you know what I mean? Also, I expect the outsole to be a little bit more durable for that much money, but I guess I mean, Nike doesn't care, you know what I mean? That's just kind of what they do, you know? But yeah, I guess I do like it because it's super duper thin, right? I'm just worried about the durability, but also underneath that, we can see these kind of like straps that come underneath the material, and it goes through this upper and acts as an eyelet as well. So when you tighten this part, it kind of tightens on your foot a little bit more and adds to the durability and also for the support. But it's still super duper thin, right? Super duper thin. Also, we have some fuse as well. And then for the tongue, we have very minimal padding. It's a very large tongue, but very minimal padding. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have a little bit of padding. I mean, this is pretty much like the saddest Achilles pads that I've ever seen. It's not even Achilles pads. I feel like they just stitched it down. They didn't add any foam. You know what I mean? An Achilles pad is like the Harden Volume 5, Harden Volume 6. With the crazy pads, you know. This is not even really a pad, you know, so very, very disappointing. But the padding, I guess it's all right. It's like average amount of padding. And also another thing that I don't understand is the padding on the outside of the shoe. Why is that there? You know what I mean? Like, what? I guess it adds to the stiffness and rigidity of the upper, so I guess it'll probably help a little bit with the ankle support, but it doesn't really do anything for the comfort, you know what I mean? So overall material, kind of bad for quality, but it feels pretty nice and minimal on foot, right? And now moving on to the fit, I went up half a size and it fits me very well. I don't know why Nike's shoes are fitting short for me, but they have been lately, right? And I went up half a size with this shoe and it fits me very well, especially lengthwise, right? So lengthwise, my toes go very, very close to the edge of the shoe. Also here in the toe box, it's quite snug and it is pretty narrow. Look at that. So yeah, I went up half a size and fits me very, very well, and I suggest most people do the same. If you have a wide foot or you want a super roomy fit, probably go up full size, right? And I would only suggest going true to size if you have a super skinny foot or you want a really, really snug fit. But like I said, going up half a size for me, it fit me very, very well. And as far as the support and lockdown goes, it was pretty damn good for lateral containment, right? So we have the foam coming up, acting in the sidewall here in the forefoot. And then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, right? The material does roll over on itself a little bit though. This material definitely is not super supportive. I mean, it doesn't stretch that much, but it's so thin that it kind of rolls over on itself. So yeah, I mean, if you're a very, very big dude and you're doing crazy lateral movements, I don't think it's gonna be terrible. But there definitely are better options, right? Especially if you want to feel super duper supportive in your shoes. Like if you want to compare it to like, I don't know, like the Zion 2s or something, then this definitely is not as supportive, but for me, it was adequate, right? So there's that. And also for lateral stability, I was good to go, right? Look at how much the outsole protrudes out. It's pretty much like an outrigger, right? So we have a pretty wide base. And so that's one thing that people were worried about, but I didn't really have any issues with that. And also this is a high top. It didn't really restrict ankle movement that much, however, you know what I mean? So that kind of sucks if you want a lot of ankle support, but I like to play in low, so I didn't really mind that all too much. And also because there is a lot of compression from the React midsole, I thought it was going to be a little unstable as well, but it wasn't too bad for me. So I would say overall support in lockdown was pretty damn good. It's just not the most supportive shoe, which is weird, especially since this shoe is made for like more bigger dudes, you know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it was kind of heavy, right? Yeah, 14 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 13.85 ounces. So not terribly heavy, but it definitely is on the heavier side of things. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. And this shoe definitely does feel very, very bottom heavy. You know what I mean? This upper is super duper minimal, like I said. So you're feeling all this plastic, all this cushion right underneath your foot, and it feels bottom heavy, you know what I mean? So it's not terrible, you know what I mean? But it just doesn't feel equal as far as the weight distribution goes, and it feels a little weird to me, you know? And also, I didn't feel super quick when I was playing it, right? Because of the cushion. The cushion is super duper soft, so I didn't feel super responsive in that category, and also the traction wasn't top tier, so I felt a little bit slower when I was playing on like a dusty setting, right? So yeah, there is a responsiveness of the shoe. And as far as the ventilation is pretty damn good, right? Dude, we have a lot of ventilation through this mesh material. It's super duper thin, so ventilation very, very good. Your foot is gonna feel very, very cool. And as far as the aesthetics go, not a huge fan. I don't know, it just looks kind of weird to me. It looks kind of cheap almost even. And also I don't really like the pattern on the upper. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Zoom GT Jump 2. It reminds me a lot of the Zoom GT Jump 1. You know what I mean? I even like it a little bit better because this React foam, I think in my personal opinion, feels better than the setup in the Zoom GT Jump, like the original one. However, it's just not my type of shoe. And I'm not saying that definitely doesn't mean this shoe is bad or anything, you know what I mean? It's just that for my style of play and what I want in a basketball shoe, it's not the best because, you know, I'm a guard. I want to be quick on my feet and I want to feel low to the ground, you know what I mean? And that's not what the shoe is, you know? But obviously, if you're looking for a shoe that has a crazy amount, like basically the most cushion that you can get, and also that has pretty good support, and you don't really care about crazy traction, then I would say this is a very, very good option, you know what I mean? So yeah, that about concludes my review of the Zoom GT Jump 2. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave the affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.